Steve's asking if it's playing for everybody. Steve's playing for me perfectly on Facebook and on Twitter and Periscope as well. Should be all right. I can see it there. Refresh your connection, dude. Fingers crossed. Everything will be coming through loud and clear. Good evening, everybody. Massive welcome to tonight's broadcast. Huge shout out to those who are listening on the audio experience as well. Massively appreciate you for listening. If you're walking the dog right now, listening to this at the gym or whatever, hope you're having a fantastic day. So yeah, got some really interesting stuff to talk about tonight, and I've got some big questions to ask you guys to do with the direction that I take Act on this in as well. Steve Connolly, good evening. I've had some ideas for the site, like for quite a few months. Well, actually, this goes back like about a year, and I've almost done this twice before, and I've bottled it. I've bailed out, right? Because I was like, oh my God, is this going to be too much work? Is it going to be too big? Is it going to be too much hassle logistically? But I just think to serve the community best, I might have to do this thing. So I'm going to ask you about this thing towards the end of this broadcast. Before that, I want to give you a presentation, right? Because sometimes I think we need presentations like this, right? Tonight's broadcast is all about encouragement, okay? I personally, just to be vulnerable for a minute, I'm going through like probably the biggest like zone of transition in my life ever, moving into this new apartment, creating new businesses that you guys will know about quite soon, potentially creating new work in the TV industry, voiceover. There's lots and lots of things going on. And it's all exciting, but it's freaking scary, right? I don't think I've ever felt quite as overwhelmed by everything that I'm doing than I have done over the last couple of weeks, to the point where I think it's actually resulted in an inner ear infection, right? I've never had an inner ear infection before. I don't even really know what one is, but all I remember is feeling very, very dizzy in the middle of last week and feeling like super spaced out. And it's finally getting better today, but all the symptoms point towards it being some kind of viral inner ear infection. My balance has been crazy off. I've been walking down the street, and I honestly feel drunk. It's a bizarre feeling, because I haven't drank in years. So yeah, I'm like, maybe this overwhelm and all the pressure that I'm feeling, because I'm running about everywhere, is even affecting my health a little bit. And I think sometimes we just need, don't we, someone to say, actually, you know what? It's all going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. So tonight's broadcast is all about that, right? I'm going to bring up some slides for you, and we're going to have a little look at this. These are 6 quotes, right, that I've picked out. Hopefully, I've picked out some good ones for instant encouragement. Anybody here going through a big transition right now? Maybe you're shit scared of something. Fanny's saying, are you delegating, Ross? What, as in that's what my big dilemma is? Or am I delegating in life? I'm delegating big time around this, because there's stuff that I just can't do, Fanny, in terms of kitting out a new apartment. I'm not an electrician. I've been keeping an eye on things, because I'm a bit of a control freak, but I'm certainly not in a position to do any of it myself, so I've had to delegate everything. Christina's in the house. Christina, good to see you. Hope you are well. So yeah, these are 6 quotes, right, for instant encouragement. Anyone else going through anything where you're like, a little bit overwhelmed? Maybe you're spinning a lot of plates, or you have done for a while. I released episode 42 of my vlog this morning. Thanks so much to everyone who's watched that. I'll play a clip for you in a little bit. But vlogging full time for 42 weeks without a break is that's freaking full on. Creating a 30-minute show every single week, putting it out every Monday, and then going and filming from the Tuesday onwards. That's proper intense. So I've just had a load of stuff going on that has definitely caused a fair bit of overwhelm. Please give this a share before we start the presentation. Would massively appreciate that. Give it a little tweet if you're on Twitter. Share it out on Periscope if you're on Periscope. If you're watching live on Facebook, whack it in your feed. If you're listening on the audio experience as a podcast, would massively appreciate you giving that a share as well. Let me know where you're listening from. Fanny says she's feeling massively overwhelmed at the moment, to the point where she's feeling a bit ill as well. You've got an inner ear infection, Fanny. Maybe that's just what happens. Something's definitely not right in my ears though. Right, so I've got a slide up here. For those on the audio experience, going to read it to you. It says, right now I'm going through some massive transition in life, right? And that's often scary, okay? It is for everybody when we go through transition. I've put change, right? It's a funny old thing, innit? On one hand, it's incredibly exciting. I feel like I'm going into an absolutely brand new phase of my life. Never been here before. It's going to be a big adventure. Super exciting. On the other hand, it's fucking scary, right? It's really scary. I've never spent so much money in my life. My safety net of a significant amount of cash has gone. everything I built in the last 10 years has been spent on this apartment, and I'm basically starting again from scratch, right? I've got there on the slide. Sometimes we just need to hear somebody tell us that it's all going to work out, right? Well, I'm that guy for you lot tonight, and you can all be that guy or girl for me tonight, all right? So let's have a look, right? Here are 6 quotes that are going to fill you with instant encouragement and inspiration when you need it most. So you can take screenshots of these quotes if you're watching live, if you're on your phone or whatever. Do that. And if you're feeling overwhelmed this week, go back through these. Good evening, Karen. Great to see you here. Go through these slides and just remind yourself, because these quotes are from like some all-time heroes of mine, probably yours as well, because they're mega, mega, mega names. Very, very intelligent, very wise people. First up, Dalai Lama chose the man himself. He says, look, there are only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. One is called yesterday, and the other is called tomorrow. Today is the right day to love, believe, do, and mostly live. All right? I'll read that again. There's only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. That's the point of this, right? If you're going through some kind of struggle right now, in your acting career, out your acting career, in life, wherever, right? Something can be done about it. Ultimately, it can't be done yesterday. It can't be done tomorrow. Today, is the day you can actually do something about the situation that you're in. And today is the right day to love, believe, do, and mostly live, right? Live your life, okay? It's an awesome quote from the Dalai Lama. The quickest way, I find this like massively, the quickest way to deal with overwhelm, when I felt overwhelmed this week, is to come right back to the present moment, literally to right now. What can you do in the present to improve the current situation? And sometimes you've got to ask yourself some questions that are obvious that not a lot of people ask. And you'll hear me ask this question loads of times when I'm struggling with stuff, or I've mentioned it on here before. I ask myself, what good is there right now that I cannot currently see? What good is there right now that I cannot currently see in this situation? And if you look for it, I promise you, you will find it. Even if it is just the point that actually, you know what? I can take some action to do something about this, even if it's going to mean climbing out of this hell that I'm in right now, inch by freaking inch, right? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow isn't here yet. Don't worry about that. Let's focus on the now and move inch by inch towards our desired outcomes. You've got to stay focused and keep moving forward. Melissa says, I seem to get labyrinthitis attacks. That's an inner ear infection when I'm in a place of massive indecision. The physical symptoms reflecting the internal struggle. Do you know what? Isn't it funny? Because that does make a bit of sense, doesn't it? I've been all over the place, like literally, trying to vlog, try to edit the vlog, get the vlog out on time today, publish it, getting calls from my builder this morning, asking me about this, that, and the other, doors, electrics, this and that. What do I want for this? Why haven't I bought that yet? I've had a big voiceover session on last week on Tuesday that I was doing. That's I've had to go back in a couple of times towards the end of the week for that. There's been loads and loads and loads of stuff going on, and I felt all out of balance. And what's gone, health-wise, is my freaking balance. Like I say, Melissa, I've just felt completely pissed. And I've not even had a drink. It's just, at times it's been quite nice, but then at times I'm like, nah, I'm just feeling dizzy and like I'm just not in my body. So yeah, maybe it is that indecision. I think it's simply a case of spreading yourself too thinly, Ross. You're just one man, says Fanny. I know. It's tough, isn't it, though, when you try to achieve. Fanny, you must feel the same, though. You've been doing a load of stuff recently. I've seen like music videos that Fanny's been putting out. One of your goals was to get on iTunes this year. You've now done that, so congratulations on that. That's a great achievement. Sometimes, yeah, you've just got to take... I'm taking 3 weeks off now to get this apartment sorted out, to come back to the now, to stay present, and to just, get my balance back, like in life. So ultimately, yeah, number one, right, the first quote there, Dalai Lama, just stay freaking present, right? You don't have to worry about tomorrow. Don't fret about what happened yesterday. What good is there right now you cannot currently see? Focus on that and, and move forward in the now. Quote number 2, bit of Einstein. Told you I picked some great guys tonight. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid, right? The reason I chose that is because there's been loads of stuff in my life that I'm doing right now, particularly again moving into this apartment and refurbishing the whole thing from scratch. I've no idea about any of it. I've never done it before. It's a world that I've got no clue about. It's nothing to do with the acting industry, nothing to do with the industries that I know about. Building, electricians, plumbers, kitchens. I've no freaking clue. And sometimes I can feel completely overwhelmed and just stupid. Because they're like, oh, well, I want this. Well, you can't have that because you've not thought of this. I'm like, oh my God, it's so obvious. But I would never have thought of that because, this is not my domain. So what Einstein means there, everyone is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Ultimately, it's about comparing yourself to everyone else. And lots of actors do this. Lots of people who aren't actors just do this. People in life just do this. They compare themselves to other people. They get jealous of what others have, particularly with social media, particularly these fake lives everyone seems to be living on Instagram. Instagram stories, Twitter, Facebook, the highlights of people's lives. And we've got to remember that that's exactly what they are. Stop getting jealous or envious over what you see other people have. Stop feeling inadequate if you don't have what they have yet. And I put that in the nicest way. F everyone else. And I mean that with the book we were looking at for the last 3 weeks, the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. That's what it's talking about. It's saying stop giving an F about things that are not F-worthy. And one of those things that is definitely not F-worthy is comparing yourself to what other people are, what they have, and what they are doing, because you are not that person. You don't want what they want. Thus, forget about those. They're only going to slow you down. Every minute you focus on someone else is a minute you're not focusing on you. Just do you on your own time. Be patient, and just know that you will get there. You are on Melissa time, Bobby time, Christina time, Fanny time, all these, different clocks. You're not on Ross time. I'm not on anyone else's time. Some people will get there before us. Some people get there after us. But ultimately, if you compare yourself to someone else or what they're doing, or someone in a different industry, if you're an actor and you're comparing yourself to someone's achievements in the music industry, you will just feel, inadequate, stupid potentially. You've got to just come back to you and go, actually, you know what? My core competencies are this. I'm going to focus on those. My core competencies are not in building, so I get my builder Steve to make all those decisions. Hammer time. I knew someone would say that. Who's on Hammer time? Someone's on Hammer time. MC Hammer's on Hammer time. I feel like I'm sometimes tied to the gloomy weather, says Bobby. You've got to separate yourself. You are not the weather, Bobby. Definitely. But weather does affect stuff, definitely. Seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. Sad disorder. Get yourself a light, Bobby, a sad lamp. Get yourself one of those daylight lamps. Always. That's why I have, even like now, I've got this light boosh, on my desk. There's an audio experience, you can't see it. Got a bright light on my desk. I just love light. The lights I put in my new apartment are freaking bright. They're on dimmer switches, so you can turn them down, but I like light. Right, what else is going on? So that was quote number 2, Einstein. So we've had the Dalai Lama, we've had freaking Einstein. Don't tell me I don't bring you quality people. This is a good one. Oprah, another one of my heroes. What a legend. Give me some hearts on Periscope and Twitter if you're a fan of Oprah. Give me some comments on Facebook if you like Oprah. She says great stuff. She said, listen, every time you state what you want or believe, this is really important, right? A belief, let me just remind you what a belief is. A belief is you basically saying to yourself, I am certain that this is true. And you can have limiting or empowering beliefs. But if you say you believe in something, you are certain that it is true. So every time you state what you want or believe, you're the first to hear it. That's the important thing here. Okay, it's a message to both you first, because you hear it before anyone else, and others about what you think is possible. Don't put a ceiling on yourself, she says. So every time you state what you want or believe, you're the first to hear it. It's a message to both you and others about what you think is possible. Don't put a ceiling on yourself. That's a freaking good one, isn't it? Love Oprah, such an empowering lady, says Andrew. What's Steve saying here? Bobby, if you lived in Manchester, you'd be gloomy most of the time. Bobby, you wouldn't. We've had beautiful sunshine in Manchester recently. So what does Oprah mean by this quote, right? Oprah's got it spot on here. I love this, right? Don't ever tell yourself you can't do something, right? It all begins, every part of my coaching that I do with Bulletproof Actor and just everything in life starts with something called the success cycle. And the success cycle starts with the belief in your own potential. If you believe you can or you can't, you'll be right either way. Remember that Confucius said, the man who believes he can, and the man who believes he can't are both usually right. So if you are starting off going, I cannot do this, I do not have the potential to do that, guess what? You are not going to take the action required to do it, thus you will not get the results. Thus that will detract from your belief in the future. You're going to feel even shitter about yourself, to put it in layman's terms. So, if there's things out there that you're like, I want to do that. If you see someone who looks like you, who sounds a bit like you, who's from a place similar to you and they've done it, you can freaking do it, right? Chances are, even if you've seen no one do this thing that you want to do, you can be the first to do it. Ask Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile guy. He ran the 4-minute mile before anyone else had even contemplated that really it was possible. His record lasted 30 days, because it suddenly became possible. So he ran it in 3 minutes 59.96, I think. And then I think it was 30 or maybe 40 days later, someone else beat that. Today, we've knocked 17 seconds off that record because it became possible. People went, actually, you know what? I'm going to go and do it. So even if no one's done it before, at least give it a freaking go. But Oprah's right. You've got to not put a ceiling on yourself. It's very, very easy to do. And fear will dress itself up as practicality a lot of the time to talk you out of doing the things that you want to do, because actually it's not that you can't do them or that it's not practical for you to do them, it's because you're just freaking scared, and you've got to admit that sometimes. I openly admit there are things that I have not done in my life. I'm trying to think, this week's only Monday, and probably not this week, but definitely, I'm sure there would have been things last week that I didn't do for fear of whatever, whether that's fear of, expense, spending money, fear of being hurt, fear of being vulnerable, fear of losing out on such and such a thing. You just got to catch yourself as many times as possible when you're doing that and go, wait a minute, what am I actually afraid of here? Is there a worst case scenario? And if there is, what is that? And is that bad? If the worst case scenario happens, what really am I losing? When has anybody died of this thing? And the answer is probably never. No one's ever died of writing to a casting director. No one has ever died of putting their hand up at a workshop and asking a question. But so many people don't do it. No one has ever died, of not asking out that person, that boy, that girl that you like. No one has ever died of producing a short film, if you're an actor, writing your own scripts, Fanny creating a music video. There is no worst case scenario. Don't be afraid to, put it out there. Melissa says, yes, the place you start off from is the place you end up, positive or negative. True, Melissa. 100%. Steve Connolly says, true that. And Karen loves a bit of Oprah. Everyone loves Oprah. Is there anyone on the planet who does not love Oprah? Can't be, can there? Just everyone loves freaking Oprah. And she's a billionaire. She's got to be a billionaire through taking action, believing in herself, not putting a ceiling on herself, and ultimately, I think, being freaking kind. I think it just shows you where compassion and doing the right thing can take you. Always lead you to great things. Next one, Will Rogers says, even if you're on the... Who was Will Rogers? You know what? I don't even think I know who Will Rogers is. I saw this quote before, and I don't know who he was. That's an oversight, isn't it? Will Rogers, Wikipedia. Who are you, Will? Will Rogers was a stage... He's an actor. Why don't I know who Will Rogers is? American Cowboy. He was in... What was he in? Oh, he's dead. He died of a plane crash. Freaking hell, Will. If that's the same Will... Might have been. Died... Oh, no, that can't be him. Maybe it is. Died in 1935. He's a wise man anyway, because when I Googled great quotes, this quote came up. Even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. Will, I hope you weren't on the runway if that was an accident. That would be a very unfortunate quote to have if that was how you passed away. R.I.P. Will, with the greatest respect. Not making a joke, Will. Little one, but I hope you're fine. Even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. I thought that was powerful, right? Because that's exactly where I am right now. This thing I want to talk to you about after this presentation is all to do with this quote, okay? It reminds me of this, guys, right? Ultimately, this is right in it. Still water becomes stagnant, right? You have to keep moving to remain useful. We can't keep relying on past successes. So I know people who've had massive successes in the acting industry. Literally, a couple of my mates, not many, like genuinely have made over 2 million quid out of the acting industry. I mean, that's a lot of money. And they can't rely on that success moving forward. One guy in particular I know is now still doing episodes of good dramas, but only like one app. I spoke to him today. He's like, mate, I'm doing one episode of this great drama. Yes, he's like the guest lead in it, but this guy's been in one of the biggest shows in the world. He's due to shoot a massive movie that will be a global hit. And has made a shitload of money out of it. He knows he cannot rely on that past success. He's got to keep moving forward. Otherwise, he becomes irrelevant. The reason Will Smith, this is what I love about Will Smith so much. The reason you will see Will Smith now vlogging, obviously he's just copied me from Watch Ross. The reason he's vlogging on Instagram and he's got his own vlog on YouTube and stuff is he knows that although he was a massive star of yesteryear, if he stops being seen and stops innovating and stops moving forward, he becomes irrelevant like that so quickly. So you've got to keep moving, otherwise you become stagnant, right? In and out of your acting career, that goes for as well. You must keep innovating, pushing boundaries, and continuing to build the very best version of you. If you go to the gym for 6 years and you stop going for a year, guess what happens? You get fat. It all goes to shit. You've got to keep moving forward, keep innovating, and keep working hard to continue to build the best version of you. Otherwise, it all goes wrong. And like I say, this thing that I want to talk to you about is potentially a massive risk for me, but could have massive, pay off massively for our community that we have here, and for anyone who joins it, moving forward. And it's innovating, it's moving forward with something. It's scary. It could all go tits up, and it could be the worst thing I ever did for acting on this, but I just feel it's freaking right. It's the right thing to do. So yeah, still water, remain stagnant. Don't stay still too long in your acting career. Don't rely on your awards. We've seen friends, people in this industry, friends of mine, they've won Oscars this year. They can't rely on the fact that they've just won an Oscar and that's it, because they will quickly become irrelevant. Because guess what happens next March? A whole group of other people win new Oscars. Same with the BAFTAs, same with anything. Don't ever get hung up on people winning awards, guys, either. Because, you just got to realise that next year, there's a whole load of those given out again. And what you should do is be aiming to be one of those people, if not next year, the year after, or the year after. But at some point, you want to be one of those people picking up that award, not focusing on the people who've won them yesteryear. That's a total losing strategy. You're just deploying a strategy that will guarantee you losses. A ship is safe in the harbour, says Bobby. That's a good quote, isn't it? But that's not what ships are for. Unless it's a ship with loads of holes in it, Bobby, in which case it's probably best to stay in the harbour. Joking. Here's a great quote. Nearly at the end of the quotes here. Oscar Wilde said this: "What seems to us as bitter trials are often blessings in disguise." Isn't that freaking true? What seems to us as bitter trials are often blessings in disguise. Take yourself back to a time that you saw at the time as a bitter trial, that now, maybe weeks, well, even days, but days, weeks, months, or years later, you can now see as a blessing in disguise. Because I bet one comes to mind almost straight away for everybody. And if you think about it, there will be multiple, right? When I look back on literally the darkest, absolute hardest times of my life, right, I can now see them for what they were. And it was impossible at the time because you're completely just consumed by them. But they really were gifts and opportunities to grow. And as cliched and as fluffy that sounds, it's just really true. I look back at when my dad died, and you could go, oh my God, darkest time of my life. It was definitely one of the darkest times of my life. But I look at it now and I go, God, you know what? It was a natural death for a start. I have to accept it. It's not like it was taken away from me, so that's easier. I know that's a bit different if you're in a different circumstance. But what it taught me, how it enabled me to grow as a human being, to grow as a son, to grow as a person, to be there for my friends on a level I could never have been there for them, for the experience it gave me as an actor. If I have to, take those emotions into scenes. If someone would have told me, right, in this scene, you get a phone call, say your dad's just died. Before that, I'd have probably gone on the cliched breaking down, oh God, terrible kind of thing. I actually know what that's like for real. I've experienced that, and oh my God, it was so different. So you get emotional mastery, emotional experience like that, I got 24 years with my dad. That's a gift. A lot of people get far less. My dad got far less with his dad. I think he got about 4 years. His dad died when he was about 4. I learned loads about mortality, about living my life, about sacrifice, the things that he did, work ethic, the things that he did for my family, for my mum. So many gifts in that. And you could go, wow, that was a tragedy, and look at it as a tragedy for the rest of your life. You've got to choose to look at it as a gift, an opportunity to grow. But when you do that, you will certainly grow through it. And a step put there, as Steve Jobs once said, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. At the time, I would never have thought that would have, given me all those gifts. There's been times in my life where I've gone, wow, this has hit me really hard. Why am I going down this path? Only to find someone or something where I've gone, oh my God, had that not happened, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have done that. That wouldn't have happened, which wouldn't have led to this opportunity. And all these incredible things would not have happened had that, what I saw at the time as a tragedy, never occurred. Bobby says, my mother used to say that being diagnosed with cancer was the best thing that happened to her mother. She says that it's taught her how important family was, and in the last year of her life, she was a different person. It's amazing that, isn't it? But isn't it, it's almost bittersweet, Bobby, isn't it? That it takes something like that to make people live their lives. I promise you, right, all the shit in your life that you're all worried about, including myself, if we were diagnosed, heaven forbid, touch wood, it's not. If this, what I think was an inner ear infection this week, ended up being something serious, all of the shit I'm worried about with this apartment, with all this stuff and this overwhelm I'm going through right now, suddenly would just pale in comparison and would probably just disappear into nothing. I wouldn't be bothered about it at all. And I don't want it, and I keep on remind myself, we don't want to have to go through something so serious to be reminded of our mortality, to begin living our life the way that we should. And you've got to remind yourself of that. A friend of mine got diagnosed with a stage 4 brain tumour like a year and a half ago, and I don't know what his stats are on life expectancy, but he wrote a bucket list and he started living his life over the past 18 months, 2 years, at a level where he probably never would have lived it in the next 40 had that not occurred. And I'm like, I just wish we could get that before that shit has to happen to us. And it's difficult because you've got, even like, you get this massive amount of self-awareness when you lose a parent. I definitely did. And even then, though, after a few months, that begins to fade. And you've got to keep coming back to it and remind yourself, actually, what can I be grateful for right now? The little things that I'm sweating right now, what's the point? Like, what do I have in my life? Let's appreciate that. What you appreciate appreciates, Tony Robbins says. And it's just so, so true. Gratitude, key to everything. But yeah, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. But I promise you, if you're going through some shit right now, which I've got on this slide here, if you're facing challenges right now, please remember that they are opportunities to grow, right? And I know it sounds cliche, but it's just cliche because it's true. You will get through them. This will pass, whatever it is in your life. Let's have a look. What are the comments here? Melissa says, yes, that love relationship that didn't go the distance, phew, way better off now. Yeah, so you might have been desperate for this relationship you were in to work with somebody. And then a year down the line, you go, oh my God, like, had that worked, I wouldn't have met this person. I wouldn't be with this person now who's maybe more compatible, or I wouldn't have learned that, or I wouldn't, have been able to focus on that, which led to this. So many, situations you'll find yourself in like that. It's really interesting. So very true, says Karen. Steve Conley says, my dad died when I was 21. I had to grow up real quick. Best thing and worst thing that happened to me. Yeah, absolutely, man. But you choose to make that the best thing. And it sounds incongruent that. People are like, what? How can you class your dad dying as a gift? What's the freaking alternative? That's the answer to that. What is the alternative? That I class that as a tragedy and I let that, limit me and put a ceiling, like Oprah said, put a ceiling on my potential for the rest of my life? No, thank you. Don't want to do that. So you have to choose. You can't choose the situation you're put in, but you can freaking choose the way you respond to it every single time. Last quote I want to end on. Deepak Chopra, another legend, says, in the midst of movement and chaos, and this is where I am right now, that's why I chose this one, right? In the midst of movement and chaos, literally moving house, it's freaking chaotic, keep stillness inside of you. In the midst of movement and chaos, keep stillness inside of you. And sometimes what that means to me is just ejecting from the whole thing for half an hour and just spending some time on my own. I love the walk to the gym in the morning at 7 o'clock across the field. Sometimes if you see my Instagram story, you'll see me post the view and the sunshine and the trees and the grass and just escape a little bit with nature. That just helps me keep stillness inside of myself. So do whatever that is for you. Maybe that's reading for you, escaping to a coffee shop, putting some music on, locking yourself in a bathroom, having a bath with some candles, putting the kids to bed, and just escaping into your own little Zen world. Not from your house. If your kids are in bed, stay in the house. That would be illegal, probably. But yeah, like, do what you need to do to keep stillness inside of you. Karen says, I almost went 7 years ago. I almost went 7 years ago. Wow. Oh, of course, Karen. So, Karen, wow. You know what? Karen's got, like, an incredible story. I can't remember like exactly what the accident was. So, Karen had an accident. Was that 7 years ago, Karen? I grab everything I can now with both hands. And that's life-changing. So, Karen, just if you don't mind, if you're happy to do it, just write a little bit of just recap on actually what happened. Because Karen's an amazing person. This is super inspirational. I've only met Karen once, but yeah, so Karen had you had an accident, Karen. You spent a lot of time in a wheelchair now. That was 7 years ago, so obviously that was life-threatening at the time. It was life-changing in the result of that. But yeah, God, man, I bet, in terms of the self-awareness that gives you, once, obviously you come to terms with the situation you are in, then yeah, you've got to grab everything with both hands, because I guess when you nearly lost it all, I bet the things that used to scare you, Karen, don't mean anything to you now. Like, literally, the little piddling things, like, oh, I'm afraid to write to that person, ask that person for an opportunity, speak to that person, etc. I bet they just don't matter anymore. So yeah, Karen says, yeah, fell 25 feet, and my other half landed on top of me. Bloody hell. She's got a laughing emoji. So you were a cushion for how was your other half? What happened? Where were you? It's incredible. But you know what? 25 feet, Karen, you are right. To be here, amazing. Absolutely, mate. Could have ended another way. So you got a second chance in a way there. People are putting the whoa emoji on that. But yeah, it's amazing the way that you have dealt with that. And just think about that, guys, like everybody else, right? The shit you're complaining about today, if you were in a situation where, your life changed in the blink of an eye like that, would you really be bothered about the shit you're complaining about? Honest to God, in the grand scheme of things, Tracy at work who's doing your head in, your boss who's doing this, the time off you can't get, the fact that someone's on holiday this week and you've got to cover their shit, the audition you didn't get, the agent who didn't return your call. Would you really care about it? And Karen says, he's okay, freak accident. Wow, it's amazing. But good on you, because Karen's super proactive now. Probably always were, Karen, but now more so than ever, I'm guessing. I met Karen at a networking event a few weeks ago. I'll no doubt see you at other ones, Karen, as well. And yeah, keep working on what you're working on. Let's see you representing on TV very soon. Also, last slide. It says, join me next time, Mondays, 9 p.m, Motivation and Mind Hacks and book club. So do that. I'm not going to end now, though. Let's come back on camera. We'll have a little chat for a little bit. Keep an eye on those quotes, though. Yeah, remember them. Peter Krellin's just joined. Peter, how you doing? Good to see you. So what I wanted to ask you now, right? This is the conundrum I'm in, right, with the direction of Act on this as well, right? I need some honest feedback and how you think the community would respond to a potential direction I want to take the website in. Now, I'm going to bring the website up, if I can. Here it is. And I just want to go through a couple of things. Right, here's the website. First of all, it took me 8 years to build this freaking thing, right? It's been an absolute love of my life, a layer of love. It's taken God knows how many hours over the 8 years. If I actually, you know what? Let me sign in to this website and go to the members area. I'll tell you how long this has taken me to create once I've signed in as the admin here. Look at this, right? When I go into the members area, this is the dashboard. It's an area of the site you guys won't see as members, but let's go into the dashboard here. Can you see that there? It says your current membership level is admin. You have been a member for 2,694 days. I have worked a minimum, I would say, of 8 hours per day on this website for 2,694 days. That's freaking commitment, isn't it? I think that's pretty good. Round of applause for Ross. I'm joking. I'm only joking. So obviously, right, I've put a hell of a lot of effort and time into this site. Now, there's good and there's bad in that, okay? Because over those nearly 3,000 days, I've been putting content up on this website. There's an absolute plethora of it. So the site is packed. If I go in and I have a look at areas, there is so much stuff, okay? There's over 400 hours of podcasts, of video interviews, of live broadcast replays, etc. Fanny says it's your baby. It is. It feels like that. And that's great. There's all that content there. But on the other hand, I think that, just be harsh with me if you want, I think the site, Sophie, good evening, I think the site is now pretty difficult to navigate in terms of, there's so much stuff on there. How do you find it? I think people are coming to the site and they're like, I don't really know where anything is. I mean, it has got a menu where everything is and you can go through this. But I know people these days just want instant access to stuff. They don't want to trawl through things, okay? Other things are, I don't know if it's even obvious when you get there anymore because of how much stuff is on there, that it's even a membership site, that there is content there that people can, pay to access even more stuff. So we have like the words premium above things and that sort of stuff. As well as if I go down, you'll see red labels that say free. There's free podcasts on there, but there's a lot of premium content on there as well. There's so much stuff. I'm like, you know what? I don't know if there's just too much and if there's a better way to do this. Now, for those who have there's 218 people who have been through something else that I run called Bulletproof Actor, which is hosted on a completely different website, bulletproofactor.com. Go check it out. It's a mindset program that I launch twice a year for actors. It's been, super successful. It's absolutely another love of my life. It's fantastic taking people through that program. But it's based on a completely different structure and a completely different piece of software. Now I'm thinking, and this is the thing that could be catastrophic or the greatest thing ever, I'm thinking of porting over a lot of the stuff on actonthis.tv as it is now over to this new piece of software. Now, what that will mean is a few things, and it will mean some big things as well, right? All of the members on actonthis.tv, so there's about 2,500 of them. It's actually it's not possible for me to move all of those members over with their premium subscriptions active. So if you're paying for a premium subscription via PayPal or your credit card through something called Stripe that I use, it's not possible for me to move your subscription over with your payment. What it would mean is I can move your account over, no problem, so your login and stuff remains the same, your email address and your username, etc. But it would mean cancelling your payments, and then it would mean people resubscribing on the new site. Now, the new site would catalogue stuff in a completely different way. It would be very, very, very obvious where you find new content. You would get updates when anything new goes out on the site. You'll be able to see at a glance what you've seen and what you haven't seen, how far through things you are. It would be, if you're used to using the Bulletproof Actor website, if you've used that in the past, it would be far easier to access the features and know exactly what you've seen and what you haven't. But it would mean, for me as a business, it's risky because I'm like, how many people will resubscribe once I cancel their membership? Will that affect the revenue that's coming in? It's effectively pays for me to run this thing. There's quite a lot of big things to think about. And obviously, I've got to rebuild a lot of the site on a different platform. But what I would probably do is I would take the last and the most recent 40 hours of content from each section, the podcast section, the video section, and the live broadcast section, and I would port that over. Then what I would do is I would then go out, and all the people who I did podcasts with 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I would record brand new ones because times have changed, the industry's moved on. So you wouldn't get access to all the old stuff, but you would get access to brand new stuff as well as the most recent stuff. Fanny's saying you maybe do a relaunch then. Well, yeah, absolutely. It means I could market the thing harder as well because there are tools on the new platform that would make that a lot easier for me. It's a risk because this is taking me so long to produce, but I'm like, now at what point? Now it's so packed full of stuff. how well is it serving the community? Are people seeing everything that goes on there? Are they visiting the site and seeing what's happening there? Would it be easier on this new, the new version of software to rebuild a lot of this stuff, and move on effectively? Am I keeping this alive in its current format and, patching it up and working with it as it is because, I'm afraid of losing stuff that's already been done? Or is it actually, have the people who've been really successful in life just innovated and gone, what the hell, let's go? My gut tells me I could make something very, very cool on the new platform. And we could keep a lot of the functionality but add a load of new stuff to it. It would then enable me to take a lot of my focus away from maintaining the website, because it would be maintained for me, because it's a hosted platform we'd be moving to. And it would then enable me to focus on creating content, which is really the thing that serves the community the most. Fanny reckons my gut is telling me, but it's hard not to be precious. It is hard not to be precious. I just wanted to know what you guys would think. If you're a premium member right now, are you like, what? Yeah, it would take me 3 or 4 minutes to re-sign up as a premium member on the new site, but are you prepared to do that? Is that a hassle for you? If obviously I could promise you better functionality, moving down the line. And it also means the real big thing, is that the problem is, right, every single link I have put out on the internet for atsonthis.tv / whatever over the last 7 years suddenly would lead to a page not found page on the new site. So it doesn't mean that you wouldn't go to atsonthis.tv. It would still send you to atsonthis.tv, but it would say, hey, the link that you click, the content for that can't be found. The site's changed a lot recently. Check out the homepage for a full explanation of what's gone down. So it would mean that there's a lot of stuff out there. You go, oh, that thing that I thought I could go and read, that news article I thought I could go and read about this that might be 6 months old, I can't read it anymore because it doesn't exist. So it's not... it's not like a showstopper. But I just think, my gut tells me it would be a cool thing to do, and I will be able to serve the community better. My inner control freak goes, oh my God, what are you doing? Fanny says, oh cripes, no way of deleting that as a whole. There's not, unfortunately, Fanny, because Google index every single page on a website that you do. What I could do is I can redirect all of those pages to just atsonthis.tv. So it will just, if you click on a link to an article, it will just take to the homepage of atsonthis.tv. That would be a potentially clean way to do it. I don't know if Google would penalize me for that, for redirecting thousands of pages. Because David said, can't you create redirects? Well, yeah, that's the option, David. I couldn't create redirects to the same content. Now, like I say, there's probably maybe 1,000 news articles on there. There would be no point in recreating those on the new site because they're news articles from the last 8 years. There's no point in writing about an episode of Coronation Street 7 years ago. Today, it would serve no purpose at all. So I'd redirect all of those to the homepage. Like I said, I don't know if you get penalised for redirecting them all just to the main domain name. I'd have to talk to a couple of experts about that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tricky one. But my gut just tells me I can create something great on the new platform. Well, I hope I can. Sometimes the right path is not the easiest one, says Bobby. It definitely isn't. But it excites me. You can make an awesome 404 page that'll explain what's happened and an invitation. Yeah, exactly. That's one thing I could definitely do, Melissa. You just make the 404 page fun and very informative, going, hey, that thing you just clicked, that's not here anymore. But all of this new stuff is. And I'd have a dedicated page talking people through the actual change and actually what's happened. I just think ultimately, me maintaining all of that stuff that's, like we just said, in the past, one of those quotes was, you've got to, focus on the now, the stuff that was in the past. Ultimately, not all of it's going to serve you guys anymore. The stuff that we create right now, the 2018 content, the 2019, 2020 content, is the stuff that's really going to help people propel their acting careers forward. I don't think people really give a shit about the fact that, that podcast I did 4 years ago is no longer online. Well, they're like, it's 4 years old. I mean, the information in it, a lot of it is so relevant because it's evergreen information. But you know what? Like, it's time to go out and interview those people again, I think. And I do that. People who did a podcast with me 2 or 3 years ago, very recently will have done like a live broadcast with me, or they would have done a video interview with me, etc. We do, keep, cycling the guests, through different features. Will you keep the same domain now? Absolutely, David. All of that will completely stay the same. Atsonthis.tv will go nowhere. It will just... What I would probably do is I would keep actsonthis.tv as it is right now. I would build the new site on a different domain, just a temporary domain, or a subdomain of actsonthis.tv. And then what I would do is I would then keep this site active. I would send an email out to all premium members going, guys, go and sign up and reinstate your subscription on this site over here. The minute you pay for your new subscription over here, I would go to the existing site and cancel and delete your account on this one. And then you would, so it's ultimately like you're not paying 2 subscriptions at once. But you would have full access to this until you subscribe to the new one. And I would maybe keep a window of 4 weeks open for that. Anyone after 4 weeks who hasn't signed up, would just have to sign up at some other time. But there'll be an explanation of that when they go to actsonthis.tv to go, hey, a lot of stuff has changed around here. Check it out. But it's just an option. I've been toying with it. I almost did it 6 months ago and I bottled it. I built like a fair few features on the new software to test it out as would this work, and it did. It looked great, but I just shit my pants. To be completely brutal and honest with you, I just bottled it and I went, nah, can't do that. And it was mostly because of, like I say, all the links that that are out there. I thought, God, they're going to lead to this 404 page. What are people going to think? But like Melissa said there, if you dress your 404 page up nicely enough, people will get it, and yeah, sometimes, but it's got to evolve, hasn't it? I just like businesses have got to evolve, got to move on. How can I serve people better? I think this is a potential option to do that. We'll see. And I've been pushed into expediting it out because one piece of software that I use on this website, particularly to manage memberships, looks like it may no longer be supported at the end of this year, in which case you enter very dodgy territory there, where I go, actually, the whole thing could come crumbling down. So maybe it needs to be a bit proactive and start looking at, options now. Gut instinct is there for a reason, says Sophie. It's scary though, Sophie, isn't it? But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. This is why I'm like, if I've come back to this 2 or 3 times, this is probably the right thing to do for me. Because ultimately, if I started actsonthis.tv again today, I would do it differently. That's the beautiful thing about doing a business for so long. You're like, wow, stuff has moved on so much. If I was doing this again today, it would be so much easier. I would do it like this, this, and this, and we could serve people a lot faster and a lot better. Sometimes you have to take the jump and go for it, says Andrew. And if the worst comes to the worst, guys, I can come on here and just moan to all you lot about it and go, that site I had that was doing really well? Yeah, it's not anymore. But fingers crossed. If you listen on the audio experience, please tweet me, let me know your thoughts at Ross A. Grant at act on this just at on this TV as well. So yeah, well, if you guys are behind me, I'm happy to definitely explore it. If you're like, we'll support you on this, I'm happy to to have a look at it. And you know what I could do? You know what, for you guys, because you're here and hopefully you'll be here next Monday, why don't I knock up a little test version of it with just a couple of features on it? And then I can demo it. You know what? This is what we do, innit? I demo it next Monday, and then you say, that looks great, or it looks like shit, don't do it. And I can show you how it would work behind the scenes, how you would sign up, how you would manage your membership, manage your payments as well. That's something that there'd be a load of admin I wouldn't need to do anymore, because the system I'm using right now is 7 years old. It's quite dated. I'll be able to, put a lot of control for how you use the site in your hands, which again takes the burden off me doing the admin to ensure that you guys get more content. I can create more content on that. I'll happily listen to you whine. I can supply the cheese, says Bobby. Brilliant. Good one, Bobby. But yeah, it's just something to think about. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go for it, says Fanny. I'm going to play you 60 seconds of my vlog. If you haven't been watching my vlog for the last 42 weeks, where the hell have you been? YouTube.com/Watch Ross. It's behind the scenes of my life, my acting career, my voiceover career, online businesses. This conundrum will probably come up next season. I just launched the final episode of season 3 today, episode 42. What I do in the final episode of each season, every 14 episodes, is I give away £150 cash to a random subscriber on YouTube who's left a comment. I announce the winner in today's vlog. So if you have not watched it yet and you left a comment on any of the last 14 episodes of the vlog, it could be you. Here's a little 6-second clip on what it's about. It's all about teamwork. The sun is shining, we've had our food, and it's time to give away £150 cash to one of you guys just for watching the vlog.
Welcome everybody to episode 42 of Watch Ross, the one where teamwork makes the dream work. This vlog, I want to dedicate it and talk all about the importance of your team, okay, our teams, because they really are the key to success. Look who's turned up. Keith Wickham, aka the Fat Controller, and Horrid Henry, aka Lizzie.
No.
Who's there?
Europe.
Europe who?
No, Europe.
Yes! That's a great one.
What would Horrid Henry's advice be on teamwork?
Horrid Henry's advice would be, just be really, really horrid. Horrid.
No man is self-made. You will only reach your goals with the help of others, and it's so freaking true.
I'm going to send you £150 cash. Please let us know what you spend it on.
Boom, there you go, with guest appearances from Keith Wickham and Lizzie Waterworth. Santo. Lizzie Waterworth Santo, she got married now. Keith plays the Fat Controller in Thomas the Tank Engine. You'll know his voice. He's in there doing some Thomas the Tank this week. I'm working on a BBC animation with those two guys. Lizzie plays Horrid Henry. Massive animation voiceover artist. That's why you heard her doing Henry's voice there. Two awesome people. But we talk all about, the importance of your team. I go through 7 people you should have on your team. If you want to know who those 7 types of people are, again, go watch the vlog, tick them off. If you've not got one of those or 2 of those 7 people around you, go out and find them. It will pay dividends for you. So again, that's youtube.com/watchross. Do check it out. I'm going to launch season 4 in September. I'm going to have 3 weeks off to actually get my stuff together. Get the apartment sorted out, maybe rebuild parts of Acts on This, and then we'll be ready to go again for season 4 in September. But every week I bring guests on from the acting industry. We have a little interview. Sometimes you'll see behind the scenes of me recording podcasts and stuff for actsonthis.tv. It's just fun, ultimately. People seem to get a little bit addicted to it. They watch it, and I see them. They leave a comment on like episode 1, and then I see throughout the day them watching 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, leaving comments on it, and eventually they go through all 42 episodes. So do check it out. Let me know what you think, and if you want to come on an episode of the vlog, that's something that we're doing now as well. If you've got something to promote, a show to promote, something in your acting career to promote, let me know, and we'll bring you on the vlog, and you can you can promote it, particularly if it's to do with the acting industry. Or something related to that. That's awesome. So that's it for tonight, guys. That's gone quickly, hasn't it? Nearly 10 o'clock. Thank you so much for being here. Those on the audio experience, thank you for seeing it through with me. Really appreciate that. Do go check out the vlog. If I could do anything for anybody, drop me an email anytime, ross@actonthis.tv. Drop me a tweet at rossagran @actonthis. No, I keep saying dot, don't I? @actonthistv. And that's good. We'll be back next Monday for what's next Monday? It's a book club, isn't it? We need a new book for the book club. We've stopped looking at the subtle art. I'm not giving a fuck. We're gonna look at a different book next week. If you've got any suggestions, again, let me know. That would be really useful. Steve says 6 episodes a day. Madness. Steve's been in a couple of episodes. You watch 6 episodes a day, Steve. Christina's thumbs up. Thanks for watching, Christina. Appreciate that. Let me know you're getting on with everything. If you do anything for anybody, let me know. I'm just going to leave the Facebook comments for a second while I end this, guys. I'm sorry I have to do that, but if you're leaving Facebook comments, can't read them anymore because Facebook won't let me end the broadcast without going back into here. But yeah, have a fantastic week. Remember those quotes. If you need some encouragement or some instant inspiration, go back over them. Hopefully you took screenshots. The replay of this will be available tomorrow as well. So that's it. Gonna love you and leave you. Thanks so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your night. If you're watching in the States, enjoy the rest of your day. If you're listening on the audio experience, enjoy whatever it is for you. And I'll catch up with you again very, very soon. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.